guys. So obviously AEW, New Japan, CMLL and Stardom Forbidden Door was last night. Obviously we did do our quick thoughts, but today we're going to do a bit more of a thorough review on the show. So yeah, let's get into it because obviously the card was stacked. Really good show. Let's talk about it. So the show actually opened up. We're going to start with 0 Hour and I'm just going to kind of bundle everything into one. The first match we had was Daniel Garcia versus Drew Maloney. Drew Maloney here, I've never really seen before. I knew of Drew Maloney, but I've never actually watched the guy. I thought this was pretty fine. I thought, Garcia getting a singles match, I was happy about. Like, obviously, the character work of Garcia, I think he really goes all in with his stuff. Drew Maloney gets the win, which was pretty cool. I think they should have given the win to Garcia, but, it's an inoffensive match. Honestly, I feel like this was a match that I feel it could have been someone else, but apparently it wasn't, so hey-ho. The next match we had was our AEW TBS Championship Survival of the Fittest Eliminator match. Skye Blue versus Maika from Stardom. This match I thought was the best out of the pre-shows, obviously. I thought this was pretty good. I thought, well, not pretty good, but I feel like it was... The result carried it, you know what I mean? So they give Maika the win, which was pretty good. So Maika's now in the Survival of the Fittest match for this Wednesday, which is a big deal for me. I thought that was pretty cool. These are that's the stuff I love from Forbidden Door, is when they kind of integrate it and go, okay, we're going to do this, so we kind of switch things up. So there's a bit of a, an after effect of Forbidden Door. So Maika being in that match is just something I like. I like a Maika. But the match was fine. Skye Blue's here. She's better. At least it wasn't Julia Hart. That's the main thing I'm genuinely happy about. But Maika getting the win. Again, this felt very similar to the Garcia one, where it's like, in terms of, they could have given it to the other end, but they don't. This one's better because it has a bit more of an after effect, which I do prefer. But I thought it was fine. But what I thought was the weirder one to end on, obviously, with our AEW Women's Tag Team Championship match between the Divine Dominion, Lena, Kross, and Megan Bayne versus Thunder Rosa and her partner in this instance, Olympia. This match was fine, it's what you expect. I'm just not into the women's tag, as we all know. I thought Thunder Rosa looked good here for the best she's seen in a while. I think she suits being a tag wrestler. I don't think I've seen Thunder in a proper tag, so I feel like this suits her definitely. She obviously has got that aggressiveness here. But, I mean, Megan and Lena Kross, obviously, that's just the thing that's going on. I still think, we could have had a bit of a surprise here. I thought they were going to do something, but hey-ho. Honestly, the fact that there was a certain someone at the end of the show, Alex Windsor shows up at the end of the show, obviously, with Ospreay. I would have put Alex Windsor in here, maybe her and Jamie Hayter show up, but again, Jamie Hayter, visa issues, maybe. I don't know. I feel like there was something you could have done. But, as a match, it was fine. It was just inoffensive. It just kind of existed. It was definitely the Skye Blue one was the best out of all of them in terms of, because it had an after effect, but the Garcia one was pretty decent too. This one was fine. But for a 0 Hour, was it great? Not really. But was it bad? No, not really. It was fine. I do wish, again, this one could have had a bit more oomph to it. It doesn't. So, either way, I thought it was a fine buy-in, but yeah, screw that. Let's talk about the meaty stuff. So, our first match of the main card we're going to talk about is our tag team match triple threat between the Young Bucks, obviously Matt and Nick Jackson, El Sky Team, which is Mystico and Mascara Dorada, versus Unbound Company, which is Shingo Takagi and Titan, I don't know. This match was pretty fun. I did enjoy it. I loved how the athleticism here is beyond a joke. Obviously, the Bucks, you get in there, say with Mystico and Dorada. Titan was pretty good here. I love how different Takagi was. And we all know how, I think a lot of us know about Shingo. He's pretty fucking good. But he's not the same as a Dorada. He's not the same as a Mystico or the Bucks. Obviously not. So I like how he was really portrayed as that difference. And it really added an extra bit to the match. I love the speed of it. I feel like there's a lot of, splash, kick, plash, and a lot of, stuff like that covers, and I think that really benefits it. I do feel like it did go on a tiny bit too long. I feel like you could have, cut a tiny bit off of it. I feel like it did kind of, I think it could have just relished in being that just full sprint of a match, which it did kind of be for a good point of it. But I feel like as an actual match, pretty good. Obviously, Mystico and Dorada, for me, doing a lot of the legwork, obviously. But as an actual match, I thought it was pretty good. I really did. I do think, again, the lack of titles or anything did kind of hurt it. I feel like, again, you could have put the Ring of Honor belt on this. You could have put the CMLL. You could have put the New Japan tag belt on it, frankly. That would have made sense. But you don't. They didn't. It was fine. I thought El Sky Team would have made sense to win, but obviously, because of the titles. But you got the Bucks winning. The Bucks win, kind of standard. Obviously, that kind of cements their place into getting the AEW, get back in the tag team title picture, which we'll obviously talk about later tonight. Well, in this video, but I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was the Bucks' best match this year, but doesn't mean it's bad. I think it missed that extra oomph to it. I feel like I don't want to say you should have added an extra team, but honestly, you possibly could have. You could have added an extra team. You could have added an extra bit of oomph to it. But as an opener, it always made sense to open. It was a great opener. I really did enjoy it. And honestly, great way to set the show. It wasn't the best match, but then obviously there's so many. I'll say it wasn't the best match. It wasn't the best match of the night, but it was still pretty good. Bucks obviously win. I like this a lot, but it was a great starter. After this, we actually got one of the most anticipated matches of the night. I didn't expect to get this quickly. We got Kenny Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. Now, I'm debating to do a separate match ramble on this because I thought the match was great. I thought the match had a lot to it. I thought the match was very meaty, and I didn't expect that. I thought the match was going to kind of be very basic in the sense of we're going to have Sabre Jr. absolutely tear Kenny apart with the holds, which we do get a lot of, but it's going to be very much based around a actual comeback, and it's not. It's really not. It's based around Kenny being ever present. Kenny just bam for bam. It's just going straight at it. It's a great match. It really is. It's one of Kenny's best in a while. I'd say it's Kenny's best since, arguably since Swerve 2, like the recent Swerve match, or Swerve was after the Andrade match. It's better than him versus MJF, and I enjoyed him versus MJF. I thought that was a fun match, but this was really good. Obviously, Sabre Jr. does a lot here. Sabre Jr. is absolutely incredible, very brutal. Obviously, really sells that cockiness, and I love that. I love how he sells that. You know, even the crowd runs around, he revels in it. He fucking loves it. He's very sadistic here, and that's what I really enjoy. I think I will do a match ramble on it. I might not do it straight away, because I don't want to just say, I'm going to do a match ramble on this, I'm going to do a match ramble on this, I'm going to do a match ramble on this. I don't want to say that. I feel like I need to truly just sit down and rewatch it, because I feel like there's a lot I'm going to miss. I feel like there's a lot I'm going to kind of go over. I think this match was great. I don't think it was match of the night. I'll say that straight up. I don't think this was match of the night. And I'll tell you why. I'll talk about that later at the end probably. But I thought the match was pretty good. I think I'm going to do a separate video on it. So probably going to do a few separate videos about Forbidden Door, obviously. But I do feel like this makes sense to do a separate video on, so I'm sorry about that. But if you want my just quick thoughts, I thought the match was great. I thought it was one of the best ways to set Kenny up for that MJF match at Redemption, or whatever it is. I feel like just everything what they did with Kenny here specifically really surprised me. I really like how Kenny looked. And Sabre Jr., I mean, what else can you say about the guy? He's an absolute demon. He's one of the best technical wrestlers ever. He's Mr. Forbidden Door, bro. No doubt. I love the guy. What a wrestler. But yeah, separate video, so hopefully watch that. Now, for what I thought was match of the night for me, I thought this match was absolutely stellar. We had AEW National Continental Champion Jon Moxley versus Bandido, Ring of Honor World Champion. I thought this match was simple, but in the best possible way. I think the match definitely had the plans to be something bigger. I do. But I feel like the way it kind of went down, it did change it, but I think the way they adapted to it, I think the match just in general was absolutely excellent. I've got a bias with both guys, obviously. It didn't go the way I expected, but I still thought it was absolutely excellent. I thought Moxley being so brutal against Bandido, Bandido being possibly one of your biggest babyfaces in the entire company, and against someone so brutal as Moxley. Bandido comes out in all white gear. As soon as you saw that, you knew it was on. You knew he was going to be bleeding like hell. I didn't expect Moxley to tease the mask tear so early, and that's what kind of shifts the match in terms of what it was going to be. It was very much, I thought Moxley was just going to try and rip it, but it looks like he rips too much. Bandido's face very much becomes exposed, and then he's very much trying to cover it. You know, the blood's dripping, it really shines on the white. Obviously, it stains the entire top of his mask. It was brilliant. And then the amount of, like, the spots where Bandido's going, like, the gun to Moxley, and then Moxley's, like, doing the middle finger. You know, a lot of stuff. The dives, the King Kong Lariat he gives to Bandido was absolutely destruction. I fucking love that. I do feel like the match shifted, and you could tell that. I feel like there was definitely if it went to plan, I'm not saying it, like, diverted and was awful. No, I just feel like the mask definitely did limit to what they could do. But I feel like as an actual bell-to-bell, I thought it was great. I thought the emotion, again, it's hard not to be sucked in by Bandido. Like I say, one of the best babyfaces and wrestlers in the world, and Moxley just gets the best out of anyone. This match made sense. This match just, as soon as you hear it on paper, Jon Moxley versus Bandido, that's going to fucking work, you know what I mean? And it does, it really does. It's an absolutely excellent match. I feel like, for me, what I really enjoyed about it is the way they presented Bandido as an actual legitimate threat to the belt. And that's what I really enjoy, because a lot of matches like this, you kind of get, like, the presentation of, oh, it's an underdog, and it kind of diminishes them. And I love how Bandido's presented as just not that, and I love how Moxley kind of takes Bandido very seriously. He has, like, the very much, come on, do it more, you know, stuff like that. But, like, stuff like that against Bandido, it's very cool. I love how Bandido goes to lift him up, obviously, and does it with one hand, and then it kind of buckles. Bro, Bandido's the fucking man. Absolutely the fucking man. You gotta world title him. You gotta world title him sooner rather than later. That's the guy. That's your superhero. That's your fucking main guy. Fuck it. First Mexican world champion. Has to be. I love certain someone we'll talk about later, Jesus, but it's gotta be Bandido for me. Gotta be. Moxley obviously retains. That's pretty cool. I do think, for me, what I thought was excellent here is, obviously, that after the match, Moxley goes up, beats the hell out of Bandido, and then he goes to shake Bandido's hand, and Bandido, like, shows a lot of respect, like, he's got his head down, you know, really shaking his hand, and it kind of really gives Bandido a good sort of put over. There was a fear Brody was going to turn on, because he runs out after it. There was a fear Brody was going to turn on Bandido, but there isn't, and he doesn't do that. I thought this was good. I thought it was a very good match. I thought it was my match of the night. I'm not describing it like it was the most insane match. I think it was the one just I enjoyed the most, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's the best, and obviously we'll talk about that later. I just fucking loved it. I thought it was absolutely excellent. Again, biased with two of my favorite wrestlers. Love them, you know what I mean? It works. This was stellar. I was debating doing a separate video, but I just don't think I could go on about it that much, admittedly, this time. But shock for me. But I feel like this was my personal match tonight. I thought it was excellent. I thought at this point the show was really building up and up and up. Obviously, Bucks, then Kenny, then this, you know what I mean? That's a fucking big bar. So I thought it was definitely like the peak of those three, and they was all great. So for me, my match of the night. But yeah, what a match as well. Again, Bandido, what a set. Just everything about it. The visuals. Again, I do hope they run this back. I feel like that's I think that's very necessary. I do think they should run it back, obviously, to kind of fully realise that, because I think that mask rip did kind of make more trouble than what people realise. But as a match, bell to bell, I thought it was absolutely excellent for me. My opinion, the best bell to bell match of the night. Bias, I don't care. I thought it was excellent. After this, we got a really cool match. I thought this was one of my most anticipated matches of the night, just because bell to bell, big fan. We got Shota Unimo versus Pac of the Death Riders for the New Japan IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. This match was, I think this is the first I've ever seen a Shota Unimo, if not one of the main ones I can remember. I can't remember his other matches. I thought this match was great, and it really went in a way I didn't expect it to. I really didn't think it would go this way. I thought it was going to be very much more of Shota putting Pac over. Bro, Pac put Shota over absolutely incredibly. I mean, Jesus, bro, the man, I mean, the offense Shota does here is absolutely incredible, and like, I can't really, describe it. Like, just the amount of chops, the weight that Shota shows is absolutely stellar. I mean, the fucking chops, the fucking kicks, even with Pac's intensity, because that's what Pac brings. He brings that true intensity and that pace, and he's really aggressive. But Shota's just withstanding it, and it's so good. It's so good. So just very, very simple in a good way. Like, again, similar to the Moxley one, but very simple. And I love it, obviously. So this one was under New Japan rules, which was very different, obviously. It didn't have a 20 count, though. I do think they pull out tables, which, is a bit still wild for a championship match, but still does happen. Shota goes through the table, so does Pac. Pac does a brutal dive. I think, I don't know if he does, Pac does a lot of shit on the top turnbuckle, as you expect. This is the most high-flying we've seen Pac in a while. Like, Pac's been very, very more grounded, especially with, the submission, and then even the just run on the ropes. The guy's just being a machine, as he always is. You know what I mean? But Jesus, I think this match just really simple. For me, I think this is wild how Pac is such a great example of just versatility as a wrestler. Such an example. And I think that Shota Unimo is kind of, in this match, not versatile at all. but he doesn't need to be because he just sells it perfectly. Like, again, he gets put over, and I love that that was the way they were about the match. I thought that was really good and really, honestly, really interesting, really unique, frankly. So I thought Pac could have got the win. He doesn't get the win. Shota Unimo gets the win, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought that was a really nice little, way to put him over. Now, obviously, they put over during the match that Unimo and Moxley have obviously got a history. Unimo was technically the first Death Rider, whatever. And then after they go, so Moxley's back, and Moxley's pissed because obviously Unimo's won. And then, he just comes in the ring, and he's about to, he's looking down, staring down at Unimo. And Unimo stares, and then they're staring off, and then Tanahashi's music hits. Now, Tanahashi's put on a few pounds, let's say that, he has put on a little bit of weight. But he continues to walk down, and Moxley's still scared, scares Moxley off. And then, in a great moment, at least for, a New Japan benefit, which I really enjoyed, is Tanahashi goes and gives Unimo the rub by presenting him with the belt and putting the belt on him. I thought that was a really good moment. Obviously, just not even as a whole, it's nice to see. I mean, just in the sense of the Forbidden or New Japan very rarely get good stuff out of it. For me, I don't think they do. I feel like that, we can talk about the New Japan and AEW partnership for a while. I feel like this was something that benefits New Japan completely, you know what I mean? That's very much we're really trusting Unimo here with Tana. I thought that was really cool. Obviously, to show that to the AEW audience too, but I thought that was cool. I thought the match was absolutely great. I thought, again, Pac does a stellar job of doing it. It's a lot of heavy lifting by Pac, but don't count Unimo out. This was a very, very solid match, and I don't think it's better than the Moxley match, but it was still a very high level. I think Pac, you're never getting a bad match out of him. And what I've heard, Unimo's very much been a hit and miss wrestler before this. So to see people kind of change the tune on this guy, I'm very happy about. So hopefully we're more with Unimo. That global heavyweight title is something I am interested in. I do like looking at it and, watching the matches. I still need to watch Andrade's match where he lost the belt to Unimo at Destruction, I think it was. But yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Unimo because this match was really fucking good. So, our match after this was our AEW Women's World Champion Tekla versus Stardom's Starlight Kid. Now, this was the best build of the entire night. There was no match that had a better build than this, in my opinion. Obviously, Tekla's on the run of her entire career, and Starlight Kid is obviously the hero of Joshi and President Okada of Stardom, who Tekla constantly attacks and got fired by, is in the crowd front row. This match for me this is the weirdest match because it's a match that's very good. It's a very good match. It's a great women's wrestling match, but as a Joshi match, as a Joshi style, and again, I have a limited amount of Joshi knowledge, not the most, because, you know what I mean, I'm only still just trying to get into it. It doesn't exceed such, you know what I mean? It's like, I was talking to my buddy at the time, Alf, during it, and he was like, maybe it's the ref, he said, and I was like, that's a very good point. Rick Knox is the ref, feels like he is a bit slower, and it's very Americanized. It's like, there is such a difference between American and Joshi. Joshi's very quick, Joshi's very bing, bing, bing. American's very bing, and we'll sell a reaction. Joshi's just hasn't got that. And they're both great styles. It's not like I don't like Americans wrestling, women's wrestling. I do. I just think this was built up to be a Joshi match. This should have been a Joshi match. And for me, I think, personally, it kind of fell short on that. And not that it was bad. It was a match that weren't allowed to be itself. They definitely didn't let Starlight Kid Starlight Kid specifically just go. If it was very much like the Tekla versus Mina Shirakawa match they did this year. Just because, obviously, that's a Joshi style match, and they just don't let it be itself, and that's kind of the problem I have with it. It's a shame. Obviously, it's a good match. Like, Starlight Kid's doing fucking this. Starlight Kid does these insane holds, and she does this hold, and then still does a giant swing with it. That was incredible. But, it's a fine match. It's nothing, it's just not what it could have been. You know what I mean? And that's the problem I have with it. Same with, I don't know, it just doesn't really get that for me. After the match, Tekla gets the win, and she does. She takes the mask off Starlight Kid, which obviously is a big deal to get a towel over Starlight Kid's head, and she gets the mask. The sisters are sitting her out, spits in the mask, and then she goes, spits in the mask, and then she goes up to Okada, the president, starts putting it on him, and then starts beating him down as she does. And that's kind of it. Again, it's good. It's a very good match. I don't want to make it sound like it's not good, because it's great. It's just, for what it was built up to be, and what a lot of people expected it to be in terms of the style, it just wasn't that. And that's fine. I just hope this is one they run back in Stardom, or at least let Tekla be a bit more Joshi. I feel like that's the issue here. It should have been, you know what I mean? That's what I think it should have been, like, just let it be Joshi. But it's not. That's fine. Still a great match, and it makes me curious what's next for Tekla, obviously, after, you know, attacking Okada yet again. But either way, good match. Obviously, worthy of the women's belt. I just wish it was allowed to be Joshi styled. After this, we actually get our AEW Men's World Tag Team Champions between Cajun Cope and the Dogs, Clark Connors and David Finlay. The match is whatever. You know what I mean? Like, the match is definitely okay, we need to just get this in, let's calm things down a bit. And it's what you expect from a Cajun Cope tag match against the Dogs. It's something to build I haven't really enjoyed, personally. I've made that very clear. I think it's been very lacking. But the match was fine. It had some good moments, obviously. You know, I like the spear off between Clark Connors and Adam Copeland. That was pretty funny. And obviously Christian getting his ass beat with that, you know, obviously the cast on his hand. Now, there's a main thing we're going to talk about this match, and as we should, it is peak. We get in a very big situation. So we get shenanigans. We get the ref gets knocked down. We're like, oh fuck, we're getting shenanigans. And then Finlay gets the shillelagh, hits Christian with the shillelagh, and then he's about to go hit Copeland, and then the lights go out. It's like, oh fuck. And I'm very happy I predicted this, by the way. And then lights go out, and then the guns just show up the entrance. The guns and the Bang Bang Gang, and you're like, oh fuck, and everyone knew what was happening. Everyone. And then it was still black, and then you look at the ring and you just hear the fucking switchblades. Jay White's back. Fuck yeah. Oh my god, how long? It's like 15 months. Ridiculous. Bro's back. We're back. I can't wait. I still can't believe it. He's doing the gun to stand behind David Finlay. Obviously, David Finlay's the one who kicked him out of Bullet Club. Took over as leader. He'd hit a Blade Runner to David Finlay, and then obviously grants Cajun Cope the win. Obviously, this does tie into how Jay White was boys with Adam Copeland before. Obviously, during their whole little thing with the world title with Jon Moxley, that was very weird. And then Christian's a bit like, you know, weird with him. He's like, you know, and like, you know, Copeland's like, calm down, and he's like, hey, get all your friends. That's what I don't know. And then he goes and he looks at the guns and the Bang Bang, and they run up and they all start jumping and do the guns up. And I'm like, bro, I've said this before, I've said it again. If you don't know about the Bang Bang Gang, God, I've got to make a separate video. I know a lot of new people are into AEW. These are the guys. This is what. There's nothing better. We're so fucking back. This guy's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So good. The match is fine. The Jay White return is chef's kiss. Really ties into the Bullet Club stuff. Obviously with David Finlay, it works. It makes sense. They've been teasing the Dogs with David Finlay and Clark Connors for a while. Jay White makes sense. I like this a lot. One of the best moments tonight is Jay White returning. It's been God knows how long. I was going to say it's worth the wait. Has it? But I love Jay White. I'm never going to complain about this. The match was It just kind of exists. The tag defense is over. But we got Jay White, and that's what matters. Fuck yeah. After this, we actually got a big deal for me. We got Mercedes Mone versus Maya World. I was supposed to say Maya World. In the AEW Women's Owen Hart Foundation final. Now, obviously, I've been very vocal about how much I believed Maya World should win it. I think she deserved it. I think everything she did about this was absolutely incredible. She doesn't win. We'll get over that straight away. I'm not mad that she didn't win. I wanted her to win. I feel like you could have really went for that. But they really recovered with it. I will say something about the finish in a minute. But the match, I mean, Jesus, Maya can go. And, like, I think we knew Maya could go from the last few weeks. It feels like that was the first, like, experience. But, like, she can go. She's elevated herself massively. And this is such a star-making performance. And it's what Mercedes does, bro. Like, Mercedes just elevates people. Like, that's Mercedes' whole thing since being with AEW. She elevates the entire women she works with. And I love that. I think this just proves again Mercedes is the best American women's wrestler there. Like, there's this hair, and then a few others that are just on a level above. Like, Maya's ready. Maya's ready. Maybe not for the world belt straight away, but she's ready to be more involved. She's ready. You got to keep this going with her. I thought the match was absolutely fantastic. I really did. I thought how Maya's just constantly... the crowd were up for it. Like I said in the preview, if Maya would have won, the crowd would have lost their mind. But, like, the statement maker Maya hits, and obviously that was the most tense. I was like, come on, the kick-out's got you. It sucked you in. And obviously the story does too. But the match itself, bell to bell, really emphasized that. And I loved it. I loved it. The problem I had, so Mercedes gets the win. Mercedes, so the whole finish is Maya gets a statement maker, and it's like, that's what it's on. But then then Mercedes breaks and then reverses it into her own statement maker. Now, I don't like the finish. I don't. I actively didn't like it. And this is me being a bit of a nerd. I don't like the fact that Maya tapped. I don't think Maya should have tapped. I think Maya should have faded and just fainted. I don't think that presents Maya as well as it should have. I think that was the, if you're really going to go about this whole, let's go, you know what I mean? Like, underdog story. I think her fading feels more... And I feel like that's a bigger moment to me. And obviously, Mercedes still gets the win. You can still go down that route. I just feel like, for me, I think she should have faded rather than tapped. It's very much like Austin versus Brett, where Austin never tapped. And, like, you remember that, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Mercedes won. Brett won. But, like, Austin never tapped. And, it goes a long way for me, personally. But... that's nitpicking. I just think that was I watched it and I was like, I didn't like that. As soon as I saw it, I didn't like it. I do like, obviously, the match is great, bell to bell, and kind of like, it's just one of those matches where it's phenomenal. Like, it's phenomenal atmosphere that the match itself, like, whatever they could have done is going to work for me. You know what I mean? The crowd does a lot because the underdog story is that strong. But I do feel, for me, I feel like that tap just took it out of me a tiny bit, but again, the match itself was great. What I think they saved themselves massively is after the matches, they cut to Athena, and Athena's like, very happy for Mercedes, and then she's like, oh yeah, Maya wailed, she doesn't belong here, all shit like that, and then, like, she's still pissed that she lost to Maya, and then, obviously saying Maya, they're setting up Maya beating Athena, they're setting up to drop the belt, and to me, that saves a lot of it. Like, I said this in the rambling I made on Maya. It was like, I think you had to, whatever you've done with her, she wins, she doesn't win, whatever, you had to present as still as ever present. You had to present as like, this is Star Maker. Just fucking go for it. You know what I mean? Like, just keep it there. Like, this is a deal. This is who Maya is now. And for them to instantly, as soon as the match was over, like, instantly go, yeah, okay, Maya's going down the route with Athena. This is what we're doing. I think that helps a lot. I think that elevates Maya a lot. It gives me a lot of faith in what they're doing. It's great. And I think that's what it comes down to. I feel like for Maya, like, I think everyone herself, everything obviously with the time stuff with her brother, everything, it's such a special moment. It's such a special whole of series of events, obviously with going on in the wrestling, whatever. It's impeccable. She should be ridiculously proud. It's changed her career, as it should. She's been excellent here. One day it's going to happen, but not today. It was Mercedes. Mercedes is all in. She'll be challenging for the world belt. If that's technical or not, we don't know. But for this, judging off that match was incredible. Ridiculously proud and happy for Maya. But also, what you expect, it's Mercedes. The woman's just on another fucking level. What a wrestler. After this, we get the AEW Death's Door, which is Team DCMGF, MJF, Don Callis family members, Kyle Fletcher, Okada, Jake Doyle, Kevin Knight, and Andrade versus Team Mark Briscoe, which is Briscoe, Agglomeration, obviously, Cassidy, Roddy, Kyle O'Reilly, Darby Allin, and Konosuke Takeshita. I'm gonna have to make a separate video about this. I don't think it was like, it was it was so fun. It was so fun. But frankly, there's so much to talk about. It was that crazy. I thought the spots and everything were hilarious. The Nintendo spot was weird but wonderful. Obviously, the stuff with Kevin on the top. But the main thing, obviously, you all know me, how much I love La Sombra. I am Andrade. I just want to talk about the turn because it's that good. So, I will say the star of the match here is Jake Doyle by an absolute mile, by the way. Oh my God. I'll talk about that in a minute. But Jesus, I feel like with the turn with Andrade, so, thing is, Jake Doyle has Briscoe up and Max goes, no, and screams to Andrade, pick him up. And he goes, no. And he's just arguing Max, and then they fucking start doing it, and he goes to pick him up. And then Max gets the ring, goes to do it, obviously following what happened on Dynamite. And then when he throws Briscoe as Max is running, does his spinning back elbow, Max is out, and he's going, fuck you, a fucking signal on the belt. And then Jake Doyle pushes him off, goes, what are you doing? Goes, I don't care. And then like Jake Doyle continues to push him, and he pushes him back. And then he pushes him again, and then Andrade just comes up, fucking kicks him right in the balls. And then, he rips off his shirt because he's got the DC MJF shirt on. But then rips it off, and he's got a shirt that says, fuck Don, fuck MJF. And he's completely out. Don's on commentary losing his mind. You turncoat piece of trash! All that. So I love that. I just think Andrade here... Oh, I love Andrade. I think Andrade is one of the best on the roster. Him getting this moment against turning on Jake Doyle too. Obviously the stuff with Max was gonna push him. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. He's out of his own. He just couldn't do it no more. But as a match, I thought it was fun. I love how Jake Doyle was Max. I would like to see that more. But again, I'm going to have to make a separate video on the steel cage on Death's Door because it was that eventful. There was that much going on and there's that much to say. That's going to be something that I have to talk about because I don't want to waste more time on this video. But yeah, loved the match. Thought the Andrade turn was absolutely impeccable. This is great. But yes, please watch the second another video if you do because that will exist. After this, though, we do get our main event, which is the AEW Men's Owen Hart Foundation final between Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. Now, I hate to say it again, I'm going to make a separate video on this. I think this... I'll still sum up my thoughts here, obviously, but I want to make a more detailed back ramble. I think this match is absolutely one of the best examples of just AEW in general. I think it's one of the best matches they've done ever. I do. And it not even just bell to bell, and because it's wild, because I don't even think it's my match of the night bell to bell, but everything, the depth, everything, the small things on top of it, every single thing felt earned, it felt meaningful, and you very rarely get that from a wrestling match for me. I thought it was absolutely incredible. The blade jobs from Swerve and Ospreay. Oh my God, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's an experience. I don't know how. It's weirdly not my match tonight, but it really isn't. I just enjoyed the Moxley one more as a match. But as an event, everything that this was building with Ospreay's stuff, it felt incredible. It felt organic. It felt like a sequel to the Forbidden Door match, which I really enjoyed. I think this was... It was special. It was a very special match. And obviously, Owen Hart Cup final. Ospreay gets the win. Obviously very cool. The Death Riders are there. Ospreay's too far gone. He went full Death Rider, and that's what I love. Swerve here looks great. Obviously, I love how Swerve is. There's so much to dissect. It's similar to the steel cage. There's so much to talk about. I can't just make it in this video. It'll be too long. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It felt earned. It was one of those events where you just lock the fuck in. And I loved it. I loved that. I really felt grand. And you know what I mean? I do feel like it, again, there's certain things that, again, I'll talk about it in the video, but it's not the most perfect thing in the world. But as a main event, thank God it main evented. I was worried it wasn't. I'm very happy that it did. It felt very, very just cathartic. You know what I mean? Everything about it. Again, I can't go into so much because I want to make this every video. But I think it's impeccable. Ospreay gets the win. It was an incredible moment. Alex Windsor comes out. Danny Garcia, I'll say this. He's celebrating with the Death Riders. They're all happy for him. They're lifting him on his shoulders. Pac was the one who puts the finger around the belt round, and I love that. But then he goes... Then Alex Windsor comes out and she kisses him and that. And then the Death Riders going the other way. And Garcia's watching. He goes... that's a fuck. Oh, Lord, he's the funniest. But as an actual moment, everything... It is impeccable. It's one of the best moments. It's probably the best moment of the night, obviously. But there's so much. There's so much to talk about. Please, I'm sorry if I've just went... I'm going to make a separate video on, everything here. But I'm going to have to with this. It's so much. But yes, I to quickly get my thoughts out the way, I thought it was absolutely impeccable. Definitely deserves a really good main event. So happy it exists. One of the best they've ever done. So yeah, that was Forbidden Door. Overall, with my thoughts, I think the card was good. I think the card was great, frankly. I do. I think the card was really solid. I don't think it had the godly moments of, Double or Nothing or even Revolution. It was definitely one of those cards. I think my thing is with Forbidden Door is I do have my critiques because I do think there's some things that just don't make sense. I feel like, again, the pacing, I would have swapped Cope and Tekla. I think that definitely hurt. I feel like the lack of Persephone on there is insane. Like, absolutely insane. I know there's visa issues, but still, Persephone was a big one. Like, there shouldn't have been an issue there. But overall, for wrestling, I thought it was great. It was one of the, it's an AEW pay-per-view. It's a great pay-per-view. It's one of the examples of just, this isn't one of AEW's best. It isn't, and that's how high of a bar it is. This is a great pay-per-view. It's one of the better pay-per-views, obviously, of the year. But it's not even one of AEW's best. That's the level that they're producing. I think the matches were great. Obviously, the main event was great. The Death's Door, a lot of matches were great. And not that some weren't. I think the Tekla one was good. It just weren't allowed to be itself. The Cope one was fine. It just existed. And then the opener was good. It had the pace was a bit off for an AEW pay-per-view. I will say that. They had opener, Kenny, Mox, Pac, then Tekla, which kind of blocked the momentum, which if you switched that for Cage and Cope, that would have been kind of a good way to reset. So I feel like that would have made sense to have the Tekla one and then the Cage and Cope. It does act a bit for me. The Jay White return is absolutely incredible, obviously. The Ospreay win, the Maya World stuff, the Death's Door, the Andrade face turn. It's a very eventful event. And the problem is, it didn't feel Forbidden Door-y, and that's an issue in itself. I feel like that's something that they do need to fix. They should kind of focus on that. Like, that Death's Door match, I love that Death's Door match. There's no New Japan or CMLL rep. None. That's insane. And, I don't care. Takezu's not a New Japan rep. No, neither's Okada. You know what I mean? Let's be real. That ain't fair. There should be more representations. I do feel like every, if not most matches, should be a crossover spectacle. I do think also we should have crossover spectacles from a New Japan and CMLL without an AEW wrestler in there. Same with Stardom. There's Stardom wrestlers. There's 2 Stardom wrestlers. One's on the pre-show. One was Starlight Kid. I feel like we could have done more to make that Forbidden Door aspect more realised, and I do wish that. I do think that's something they should do. It feels wild. Obviously, the New Japan heavyweight title's not on the line. Same with the CMLL. The Joshi one makes sense with Tekla going on, but the CMLL one is not there, and the New Japan one, obviously, we know why. Tsuji's an asshole. I love him, but he's an asshole, and I love that. I just think there's so much. The United Empire not being there, wild. Persephone not being there, wild. There was a lot of notable omissions. There was, and it's not it's not something to sit here and deny. It does feel like they are. For Forbidden Door, you've got to go all out, ironically, with the appearances of both of these companies, because, especially with someone like Will Ospreay with the United Empire stuff, that should be there. There should be an interaction, and I don't think that's unfair to say. I just feel like, for me, the card's great, and I'm not going to sit here and say it was bad, but when you take into account it's Forbidden Door, it does... it does kind of come and ruin not ruin it, but it has to be said. For me, it has to be said. As a normal AEW pay-per-view, this is great, and it really is. A normal wrestling pay-per-view, it's absolutely phenomenal. But, as a Forbidden Door pay-per-view, I do want it to feel like a crossover event as it's being advertised. And this doesn't feel very crossovery. I feel like the only thing that feels crossovery is the Bucks match and the Tekla match and the Kenny match. 3 matches out of, 15? You know what I mean? They're the only ones. But I feel like, again, it just feels lacking in that aspect. But everything else, it exceeds. It's a great pay-per-view. If you haven't watched it, I don't know how. But as a Forbidden Door, actual fan of other companies and wanting to see these showcases, I do feel like we need to kind of work back to being a crossover event. But as an actual pay-per-view, there's not a lot of notes. It's absolutely great. So, that is my thoughts on AEW, New Japan, CMLL, and Stardom Forbidden Door 2026. I will be making the separate videos. They'll probably be out tomorrow because I've spent most of the day doing this. Let me know what you thought of the show. Let me know what your favourite moments are. And obviously, please keep in mind, the rest of the videos. But comment your thoughts and opinions below because I thought the show was great.